from Greg Nardilio, who said, do you think there's anything they could do to make the old zones relevant again? It's depressing to quest through an empty world. Could revitalize the game. And it's like, man, that's even, that touches on some stuff we were talking about in Allcraft yesterday.
Yeah.
It's like you could do a massively revamped time walking and like, okay, put it this way. I want a reason for my character to be in a hard version of Shadow Moon Burial Grounds or Auchindoun.
Yeah.
I really want that. And I want it to be more than just for an eye level 226, do 4 time walkings or 5, whatever it is, get a bit of loot. Like, I want that to be like a fully supported system in the game, Like, just imagine there's a VP and JP system, but, I could get my JP via doing the current day dungeons, which maybe would also give you VP, but maybe I could get something else by doing the older dungeons. And, maybe you'd have... I don't know exactly how to do it because I don't understand that full thing on FF from the top end perspective. Yeah. But it seems like it's something all the FF people are very jazzed about. It's certainly made my experience as a Sprout better. I'd love it if WoW could do that. And then I'm just thinking how do you apply that to the old zones? I mean, there's a bunch. You could do some pretty simple stuff, like taking the tech they've made for Party Sync, but then maybe properly codifying it into some sort of time walking-ish, system with some rewards and incentives, or even just simple things like adding in way more in the way of achievements and rewards. I mean, if there's some people they're not interested in doing Lore Walker, but let's just say there's an Eastern Kingdoms transmog set, a Kalimdor transmog set, that would totally get people doing that content on their mains, right? That's even a simple way to do it. Yeah. There's so many ways. I mean, you could do some sort of thing where, you do the sync, so the levels are all, the difficulty is in a decent place, then I guess it's working out what kind of, do you just get quest points, and then there's some, new time walking vendor, but could that end up with some sort of degenerate gameplay patterns? It's kind of hard to say. So a tricky one to solve, just given that the game has been developed without that consideration in mind. But certainly if they had stuff like that as an expansion feature, I mean, it'd be big hype.
I mean, this actually made me think of something where it's the idea of the heritage armors being just, do this new quest line, have exalted rep with whatever it is, and then you're off to the races. You've got it perfectly fine. I feel like one of the smartest ways they could probably do that is have you really relive everything that race gets up to. So imagine even just in a really, really lazy way, where if you want the Night Elf heritage armor, whenever it appears, you go do every quest relevant to Night Elves or Elves. I mean, that's kind of difficult because people will have lore master already, which is one of the problems you can kind of encounter with that gameplay wise. But it's just the ideas of that would be really, really. I mean, I guess you could just do it with a new rep or something, but it's just that thing of live the journey of all of these races, understand everything they've been through, even if it just means doing Darkshore and Ashenvale for Night Elves, and then doing Durotar, Barons, Ashenvale for Orcs, stuff like that, just as little prerequisites, or even just to do it fresh and new and a little bit quicker. Stuff would just be really, really handy.
Yeah, and there was another one from Nino who just said, every change needs to come with a reason behind the why. The Team Fortress Team 2 did this when they still existed. Went far for understanding. Yeah, it's on domination sockets, the best we've got or domination shards is Jeff Hamilton basically saying, look, we can't tell you exactly how it works because then it would cause an information disparity between the players and that would have a fairness issue, but basically kill bosses and the system will take care of you. And it's that's the best we got, and that's not very satisfying to people who, I've only got one, so I don't really, I don't care about domination stuff to the point where I don't care about that. But certainly if I was a Mythic Raider and I was really trying to progress and maximize my character, I wouldn't feel satisfied with that. So yeah, I think they just need to bring back those Ghost Crawler style Dev Water Cooler blog posts, things like that. Basically, they need to get more of the sort of topical interviews stuff. They, instead of going to do a talk with Mike, I think they just need to be able to sit Ian or whoever down and, just be a situation of hey, look, we know you guys we've read your feedback. We know these are the issues you're facing. Let's have a chat. Things like that.
Yeah, no, that's basically one of the most important things they could do to stop the community kind of bleeding as it is, for like just some direction, some kind of, not even hope, but just some, all right, how's it going? This is what we're up to. We are actually humans. We're not just, we're not just like drones under the control of the big evil entity of Activision Blizzard.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, we're people with ideas and thoughts and stuff. What's happening? Here's where we went wrong. Here's where we went right, etc., etc. But just in the more transparent form, instead of like it's kind of a problem when you've got a 30-minute interview and you've 500 points to hit.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you kind of have to nuke it like.
We talk about some of these issues and it lasts for 6 hours.
Yeah.
You just need more time.
Yeah.
There's a super from Morty J who said, "Greetings from across the pond in Texas. When my chocobo became my fighting companion, I could dye its feathers and armor, and my jaw dropped." This is from a 15-year plus WoW Hunter main.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a cool.
Yeah, you've got your dye. You've got it's got its own 3 skill trees that you can progress towards, which also takes a long time. By the way, my chocobo is anywhere near done.
That's cool.
Like, it's probably, I don't know, millions of experience points away from being anywhere near complete. But just the fact that you can go and earn barding for it, that's specifically cool armor, and then dye it through not just like apply a dye. I think it's actually a process where you have to I think it's with the kudzu carrots or something like that, and you have to grow the right food to feed it, and then it'll, change its feather colors. I believe so. Anyway, something like that. But it's just the kind of attention to detail where it's like, it's not a system. It's a system, but it's not a system.
Yeah. I think that the more that Liz could do that, the better. I'd love to see them, make a mount, and then instead of doing some dyes or some tints and then spreading them across the content, I'd love to just see them, do a mount, make that mount really hard to get, and then just have a whole thing for unlocking the different tints. Like, imagine a mount and then it's got an artifact weapon style thingy selector. If you were going to do it that way, because I doubt they can do that super systemically with their engine, just giving you color pickers and stuff and different dyes. I'd love to see them do that. And there was a little hint of that in Mechagon.
Yeah,
with the cat that you could paint.
That's cool.
For me, it was just, I think I didn't really like the cat mount, so I wasn't super into it. But I like the idea, and I'd love to see them do that more. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. And also, just that idea, what you said there about the Chocobo, I guess it has a little bit of utility beyond just being a fast mount and all that. I'd love to see them do stuff like that. You could just break mounts down into mount classes, like horse, dragon, etc., and have them do some cool stuff, give them a little tree. You could just say, oh, but the balance of that might not be perfect. To which I say, I'm fine to have a mount be best in a certain situation if it means that the mounts are really cool. I see people play Guild Wars 2, and it's like they want to go fast in a straight-ish line. They get the beetle and they go whoosh. They want more WoW style movement, so they use a dragon, or they want a lot of the speed, so they use those flappy wyvern griffin things that they've got in that game. So there's a lot we could do with mounts. I think Blizzard should do it. It would just be another great way to reward people, and I think it would make people care about mounts more.
Yeah, for a little tiny bit of flavor on the Chocobo stuff, it is your Chocobo companion that you get at level 20 now. That is the only one that fights for you. That is almost like your hunter pet. That's just that pet.
Yeah, I've just got him, but mine can't fight yet. I haven't unlocked that.
Yeah, so once it does that, then it's thing. But you don't use an instance content. It's only for open world stuff. So it is basically only for questing, and for doing fits and stuff. And sometimes it can be a real game changer, but it's really cheap to have out. And balance just doesn't matter, because it's used nowhere that balance is a concern, ostensibly. So you're like, whatever.